Start streaming. Start recording. Let's go do this. Movie crap live. Are we going live? Looks like I'm live right now. I hope I'm live. Waiting, I'm starting live early. You didn't expect that. No. Wait. Let's go do this. You can see me. Crap live. Are we going live? Looks like. Look at that. Okay, hold on. I don't want you to see me yet. I don't want you to see what I look like. It's my mystique. That's my thing there. Yeah, I was having problems with the going live thing, so it was a little weird. Showtime. Hello, Major Mekazawa, Robax, Lome. Let's send out the tweet. Yes, I'm starting a little early. Hey, Nathaniel, aren't you seeing Space Jam right now? Nattenbach64. Can you hear me okay? Austin, Ashla Ross, how's it going? Bruce Parker. Yeah, the going live thing. Hello, Sunspot Mill, Purple Goop. The going live thing on YouTube always like makes me sweat. It's like every time. What's up with that Twisted Razor? How is it going? Adrian Sierra, by the way, I hope you're doing okay. Hope this is a good time show for you. I'm sorry again. Thank you, Bruce Parker. Yeah, fuck it. I'm always doing it live. Can hear you fine. Thank you, Cornbread. Thank you, and hello to you. If I didn't say it, and Jordan Solaflo. Nanbox64, you're gonna watch. You know what? If you turn Space Jam 2 the volume all the way low and listen to this stream, I heard it matches up. Does that make sense? I don't know. I've heard that from people from the future who sent me future texts who told me, "Oh my God, the scene." Where they play basketball matches up to me talking about monsters at work. Anyway, what's up, Doc? Yeah, what's up, Dak? All right, should I be going? Oh, Buster's right here. He's enjoying me petting his. Should I be switching to the thing you've already seen? I mean, nobody's really. Nintendo said. What? Yes, Nintendo said it? Oh, about this thing. Alright. Let's switch it up. Let's go to the fade here. Hello. And I have a surprise tonight. I'm not just wearing any old black shirt. I need to have my OBS up so I can see what I'm doing. I don't have any regular shirt. This is I guess a classic shirt. I wanted to wear this on one of the streams, and since I'm going to stop doing regular streams for a little bit, I was like, let's get this done before the break, because I've been saying it. I've been saying it forever, and you probably heard me say I would wear this shirt, but I am wearing a Cletus the Fetus t-shirt. Cletus the Fetus. Yes. I have both. I have the white shirt and the black shirt. I think the black shirt's more stylish with Cletus right there. And yeah, so yes, an original Cletus the Fetus t-shirt. I have both. Knockforce did not have official t-shirts. I've seen people wear them. I've not gotten upset at the people who bought them. I'm more upset at the people selling them, but whatever. But yes, this is an authentic Cletus t-shirt. Oh, hold on. I just got the Joshua Tree on LP not long ago from your favorite band, no less, Nattenbox64. You know Nattenbox. And cheers to you. First super chat of the night. Cheers to you. Sorry, drink a little. Get the energy up. I like Joshua Tree okay. I don't think I have it on vinyl, actually. I think my dad was just getting rid of it. He was like, "Do you want it?" That album works when I was 17 and enthusiastic and naive and stuff. I don't really like it as much now, but it's not a bad album. Like, just not my thing as much. But yeah, I don't have any extra ones. I've seen people, family members, still wear them and stuff. Cletus the Fetus, man, not much nostalgia for that. Although we're coming up on, in 2 years, it's gonna be 20th anniversary of Cletus the Fetus. No joke. Think about that sometimes. Okay, so this is if you didn't know, this is the small talk portion. We started a little early. Obviously my wife's pregnant. We're going to have second child. Which is at the end of August, but because of various other family things and our wedding anniversary is the 7th and all those things, I am going to the last regular stream for a bit. It's not over completely, is July 31st. So if you want to be on one of these and you're watching this later or something, you have 2 more after this. Just so everyone knows. I'm sorry I was sick last week, even though I announced all that last week. I was actually not as sick as the other times, but I still had to get a COVID test, and I still felt doctors felt I should have a COVID test. So that was the thing, and it was I'm okay now, but it wasn't the only thing. I wasn't super sick, but I do remember falling asleep, and I saw it was 12:30, and I go, oh, I usually end movie crap live around now, and I just went. I was like, oh, that's interesting. All right. We have a super chat from Austin. Said he's the best in the world, but I'm bummed. Guitar noises. Thank you. I still like. Hello, Nina Garcia. I still like. That song. That's like the best thing about Cletus the Fetus. All right. Cheers to you, Austin. Where were we on this? Nothing else. I did show Sophie. I'll get into the Space Jam. We're just going to have a loose discussion on Space Jam, A New Legacy. Obviously, I will be reviewing it. That'll be a separate video. We're not going to spend a huge amount of time on Space Jam, but I feel like I couldn't do this show and not talk about it because it is like what everyone's talking about right now. It's sucking up the air of the cultural conversation and so forth. No other really big news. Adrian says, may he rest in peace, Gabriel. May he rest in peace, Gabriel Dazigal. Yes. Sorry for your loss. Cheers to you, Adrian. But yeah. Oh, the Man on Fire of Cletus, Austin, is very good. I will say. That one's a good one. That was mainly Ian and Zero fucking around. All right. Yeah, what do we watch other than Space Jam? Hello, Marc Parlow. I don't know. I can't think of anything. We have watched that. Was it the Doe? Okay. Sorry, when I look something. Cletus should have been in New Legacy. Well, I have a cameo in New Legacy. I'm surprised no one has found it. You have to really scour through those crowd scenes. You'll see me. You have to really go through. But Cletus should have been in New Legacy. True, Nathaniel Foga. Nothing that I own intellectual property to could be used by Warner Brothers. I think they would have had to pay me or something. But I don't know. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Foga. All right. All right. So let's get into the. I don't think is there anything else to say? I don't think there's the Spyscape Black Widow video. Was there a Saber video? I'm working on Saber videos. I don't know which ones came out, but oh, whoa, that's crazy, Marc Parlow. Oh, well, congratulations to your brother and his wife. That's awesome. All right. Let's just so we can get into the regular things. This is going to be a looser show. There's not going to be a trailers and stuff, which makes it harder for me, but I'm okay with it, he says, until he has to do the timestamps. All right. Wait, what's going on? All right. Anyway, let's do the Patreon Discord thing or whatever. All right, so this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through Patreon. Did this go out? Oh man, no. Hold on, I'm screwing this up. I am screwing this up. Sorry. Okay. Let's start this over. So this and everything I do is pretty much supported by you, the fans, either through Patreon or through doing super chats during the show. If you do a super chat, I will chug Red Bull and say your super chat or answer your question or whatever. Which is fun, gives me more energy, keeps the show going. Or you can support me through Patreon. I have all sorts of exclusive things, like exclusive videos, like commentary video, my commentary series where I do a Knock Force video, a Knock Force commentary, and then a commentary on one of my older YouTube videos, as well as you learn the movie review vote winners as well, and you have access to things like every episode of my public access show, Movie Stuff, which was a real show for a little bit, and all sorts of other cool stuff like that. So if you're interested in helping me continue to make stuff, like getting this computer was bought basically by fans and people who support this, getting more equipment, be able to make more videos and all sorts of things like that, and there'll be more exclusives coming up in the near future as I am developing other projects and stuff. So it's a cool thing, and you get more power in the movie review vote and all that stuff. If you if you are not financially able to do a super chat or do Patreon or anything like that, also you get postcards, Skype calls, all those things. If you're not able to do that, that is totally okay. But if you could like this video, give it a like, thumbs up, or even subscribe and hit notifications. I do a lot of premieres while I'm kind of not streaming for a little bit. I'll probably be premiering everything, so if you want to talk to me during the chat, I am there during the actual premiere itself. So it's a good way to connect, everything like that. I'm sorry, Jordan Bouchard, that sucks. I hope you get a new job. That stinks. Anyway, yeah. Also, you should check out the Discord if you like, which is run by Zane Powers and Austin. They do an amazing job. If you like the chat during the show and you can never come on the show or anything like that, or come on or be here during the chat or something, or just want someone to hang out with in the middle of the day or something like that, it's a great community, frankly. There's a general where I try to interact and ask hey, what do you want me to talk about on Movie Crap Live, for example? Or there's suggestions for Jim, Ask Jim, where you can ask me a question. I try to answer them. I think I'm up to date unless someone asked one after 9 p.m. or something. But as of around then, I was up to date. Yeah, also they do movie nights, all sorts of stuff. So if you're looking for, a cool community to hang out with and you already enjoy these videos, they're right there. Just go on the Discord. It's a really great community. All right. Yes. Man, I can't believe I'm wearing Cletus fetus. It doesn't smell bad, but it smells mothbally. Ugh. Cletus the fetus. Cletus the fetus. I need to do this voice more often. Why don't I do this voice more often? I could do Cletus voice, like, what do you do when your baby said, oh, we can't do that, oh no. Anyway, I did the voice of, anyway. What were the other, I can't remember them all. Like, be more assertive, you can't do that, Cheese it, the fuzz. Alright, let's, sorry, nobody asked for this. the Cleese the Fetus fandom is not there. Alright, no offense, but let's be real. Anyway, sorry. This is as much as it's going. I feel very silly. Alright, so Space Jam: A New Legacy came out on Friday on HBO Max, and in theaters it's suggested supposedly going to make about $30 million this weekend, which is pretty good considering it's on HBO Max at the same time. I think the hype, Twisted Razor, I will be talking about the Spike Lee thing. Did you see Spike Lee's big mess up at the Cannes? I did not, but I heard about it. Cheers to you, Twisted Razor, though. Everyone's having a rough day. I'm sorry. That sucks. Alright, let's try to have fun then. So Space Jam 2 came out. There's already talk about it. People posting clips online, everything like that. I'm not really going to review it. I'm going to say, though, from what I've seen online and things like that, everything I see about it that's positive is not from children. It's from adults. It seems like kids are kind of bored by it because Bugs Bunny doesn't show up for 20 minutes and what the fuck, guys? Like, seriously, I don't get that. Like, Sophie was kind of bored. Like, she likes Bugs Bunny. I was like, we'll watch Back in Action maybe next time. I don't think we'll watch this. It's just not very, and I don't think Bugs had anyway. I do find interesting what clips people choose to put online, what clips they don't. The Rick and Morty thing went up automatically. Like, why? I understand Rick and Morty's so big, and I did call out Dan Harmon. I mean, I didn't add him, but it was funny. Like, I remember him talking shit about Space Jam, and apparently he talked shit about the trailer too, which is like, did he not know? I don't. Anyway, Austin says Space Jam: A New Legacy wasn't Beyond Thunderdome. No, it wasn't. I guess it was because no, it wasn't because Mad Max continuity makes no sense. But under the vague continuity, I believe Beyond Thunderdome. No Mad Max film is Beyond Thunderdome because Beyond Thunderdome is the furthest in the timeline, and Fury Road I think takes place between Road Warrior and Thunderdome in the loose continuity of the Mad Max films. I would say Thunderdome takes place after, actually. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. But yeah, it's interesting how people are reacting to it. It's interesting people insisting seeing it on theater, some not. But I'm curious what how this is going to do, how we're going to see this go. But 30 million is pretty good. I think you could do better. But I'm curious, like, what it's going to mean for kids, because I do feel like this is maybe the first kids movie I've seen that is maybe a kids movie made for adults, and I'm curious about that. Nattenbach64, we need a Frasier Assance. I think we're getting a Frasier reboot, so we'll see. Cheers to you, Nattenbach64. And I did bring up, like, how come Don Cheadle, like, wouldn't someone recognize him as Don Cheadle? It would have been interesting if he sucked in Don Cheadle, or he referenced, like, how he stole Don Cheadle's look and all that stuff. There's a lot of things they could have done. But anyway, it's interesting, the hype around it, how big, like, on Twitter, it feels like Space Jam is the most talked about thing in the world. I think in everywhere else, it's like, meh. But Twitter's only, like, I think it's only 20% of people in America actually use Twitter, which is interesting, because if you're on Twitter, it feels like everyone does. But if you're not on Twitter, it feels like it doesn't. So when are we getting Space Jam 3 Zane Powers? I think, here's my prediction. I think, also, cheers to you, Zane Powers. I think, and hear me out on this, that that Space Jam 3, we shouldn't see, like, some basketball player with their parent and being like, you should play basketball, I'm your parent, I like you play basketball. They should have Bugs Bunny at the beginning, and Bugs Bunny's parent is like, oh yeah, you should be the best Bugs Bunny or cartoon or something, and it can be a twist where instead of being about a ball player who gets involved with Bugs Bunny, it could be Bugs Bunny gets involved with the basketball player, and the basketball player could be supporting, and Bugs can be the lead. Because let's be honest, LeBron James or Michael Jordan are not as good as actors as Bugs Bunny. I think we can all agree on that. I don't think that's too hot of an opinion. I know I'm throwing down hot takes right now, but I'm just saying, make it Bugs Bunny first. Whoever the fuck plays sports second. I don't care. They can play foosball. Doesn't matter to me. It's really not something that I care about. But although I think the Jackie Chan Looney Tunes movie should have happened, I think that's the biggest problem. All right, what do we have here? ToonJ723, Space Jam 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Cheers to you. Somebody was watching that today, actually. All right. So Loki. This is, I will say this. I really like Loki. I like the reveal of the villain. I like what they're doing with that villain. It's very comic book accurate. I don't know how far people are, so I won't spoil it. If you watch the comic Drake thing about that character, which he knew was going to happen, which is very smart of comic Drake, I think they did well. I thought that was a really exciting ending. I really like the show. I want to bring up two things about it. One is I watched season 2, or season 1, sorry, and before I could finish it. Like, no, I finished it. I'm sorry, I finished it, and immediately I go on Twitter, and everyone, it's like Variety and so forth, are like, confirmed Loki season 2. And I knew people. It's like I saw people have that sort of spoiled, and I was like, couldn't we have waited? Like, I remember Book of Boba Fett. It felt like people waited till like a day later, and like, was that like, did we really need to do like give away that Loki is going to be a regular show instead of just a limited series so quickly? Like, and a lot of people were complaining about the coverage of the last episode because so many people were tweeting out like spoiler stuff that it's like totally chill. Like, you have to stay up till 3 in the fucking morning. And I know there were some people saying like, yes, Disney Plus should actually be releasing this stuff early. Now, some of that is like, you do not actually have to go on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or whatever the fuck. I do think people should be a little more respectful, because it felt like the fact that we're talking about like not even 10 a.m. East Coast time and we're throwing shit out like crazy, I think was that was stupid. Like, that's just like what no one was doing anything for like a good joke or anything. It was like, isn't it cool this person's in it? And you're like, it's like, what's the point of even having your account? I just think it's obnoxious. But season 2 isn't a spoiler because it was revealed everywhere. So I would say, if you're like, hey, if you hadn't heard it from me, go to it's like everywhere. So I'm sorry to spoil that, but I don't think it's a spoiler at this point. Hold on. We do have, Nanbox64 says, I meant by Brendan Fraser, not Fraser. I'm sorry. You probably spelled it right. We should. And he was great. Oh, I will say, I saw No Sudden Move. That movie is really great. I really love that movie. I'll probably talk about it later because a Patreon question asked me what I've been watching. Thank you, Jordan Bouchard. And he was really good in that, and I think he's really great as a character. I think he sort of is, and I was actually thinking, why wasn't he in? And Space Jam didn't have any back-in action references. I thought it was a major oversight, frankly. Cheers to you, Natbox64. And Zane Power says, how if Ninja was the main character... Yeah, if Ninja was the main character of Space Jam 3, Zane Powers. I actually think, cheers to you, sir. I actually want to say this. Under the guise of what I believe the character's name is, Algae Rhythm, because I want to explain this. It means algorithm. He's an algorithm, and he goes by Algae Rhythm. Think about it. But under the guise of what he's doing, I was like, shouldn't he get like PewDiePie or Mr. Beast or like or Ninja? Like, I was like there's like 3 dudes I would go to. Like, LeBron's like not like he is very he I'm sure he has a lot of followers, but to me it's like those 3 I think have much more of a standing. I don't know. It's just to me. No Sun Move isn't, to explain Embletti, No Sun Move isn't a TV movie. It was a movie made specifically just for HBO Max. Soderbergh has a deal there. But it's made basically just like any other movie. It's just released to HBO Max. So that's the difference there. All right. The other thing with Loki season 2 is the Kate Herron, I believe, one of the main directors on it, will not be returning for season 2. It feels like they're having sort of an issue getting the same creative team back. We'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's usually not a good thing. I'm wondering if like they made that decision and didn't. These people signed on for season 1, and like I'm not 100% sure what the deal is with that, and maybe we wouldn't know. Oh my God, you're right. Logan Paul would be. Don't tell him that. But I don't know. It's curious they made this decision. I'm curious what they're going to do with it. So Black Widow box office. I usually don't talk about box office from the previous weekend because it's like super outdated at that point. But the interesting thing is they added on the 60 million Disney Plus from the Premier Access thing, which was pretty interesting. Premier Access, I find an interesting thing more so with this, because apparently this was like one of the bigger ones, or so they insinuate. We don't know. But I think with a Marvel movie, there's several people who, oh wow, LeBron has more Instagram followers. Yeah, but like Instagram though, I don't know. Like, who has more Twitter followers? Yeah, but Ninja's Ninja. Ninja. Yeah. Oh, by the way, Ella, I was in her short film, got in his finals for the Student Academy Awards. That's amazing, by the way. I didn't mention that. Too many things in life going on right now, but that's fucking nuts. I forgot to retweet that. I was planning to, and I didn't because I'm a stupid dum-dum, but that's a really good short film. I'm very proud of that. Anyway, but seriously, great that was in, that's a finalist or something. She can explain. I'm not. I just set a recording of my voice, and I'm like, cool. And then it's doing well. I'm like, cool. That's where we are. He's not a real ninja. What the fuck? I've actually never watched his. I don't know what he does, so he could be. He sells Red Bull and plays the video games or something. Doesn't he have a Minecraft? I don't know. So, but in Black Widow, they announced the 60 million. But I think how it works for a Marvel movie is several people see those several times in theaters. So if you were going to see it 3 or 4 times in theaters, just naturally, then financially it makes sense. Or if you have a family who's super into the Marvel movies, you got 4 kids, that price makes sense. I don't know if it worked out necessarily, but the 60 million they added on was apparently because of talent wanted that so they could tell that to announce at the same time, so they could tell it for other contract negotiations later. I'm guessing that Scarlett Johansson or Florence Pugh or David Harbour or so forth. I don't know. They didn't specifically say. Also, it's interesting that Scott Mendelson, who works for Forbes, who's probably the greatest box office writer of our time, and I'm not joking, he's very good at it, mentioned that when people are asking what's the biggest VOD release, because 60 million is a lot for a VOD kind of on-demand thing, and he said the biggest was actually Aladdin King of Thieves, I believe, when Robin Williams came back for the Genie, made about like 96 million its first week. So that shows you, I was like, oh shit, I'd make a bunch of direct-to-video sequels. I made 96 million on fucking VHS. Jesus. All right. Next up, Chris Stuckmann, we learned, and he had been insinuating it in various interviews, which I had seen in the infamous double toasted interview that happened where it was revealed his Jehovah's Witness thing, that he is making a movie about paranormal investigators, which was like a web thing or something, who disappeared. And he announced he will be making 3 videos about, I guess, what's going on with his channel and his life change. I do not know. Hello, Zodberg. I do not know what those other 2 videos are. They have not been posted yet. I like checked because I was like, I wanted to talk about it because obviously it happened last week and we missed. I will say for him, I'm curious what's going to happen to his channel and his following, and I think this has been a major year for him as a person. I'm not the biggest fan of his, but I like what he's doing, and he seems like a nice guy. I've actually known no one who's really met him, and I've only heard good things really, but I'm curious what's going to happen with the reception of this. I think it's like I think I said on Twitter, it will be the most reviewed movie of all time or something on YouTube. Like everyone's going to review that thing, and it literally is going to either be, look, YouTubers can do it, or the problem with Chris Stuckmann and his take on art and stuff like that. Like I just don't see it. I seriously don't see it being, oh, that was okay. Like, so I also think it's like, it's weirder, like when you have these YouTube people who like never write and they're not known for that. Like initially, that's not like why they originally came on the scene, and then they do that. It's like always weird. I don't know how you, anyway. Good luck to him. I'm curious about those other 2 videos, if I can talk about them before I the baby stuff, and on the streams I will. I am curious. His storytime videos, I will say, are all very compelling. If he just did storytime videos, I would probably watch him. So, the non-binary neckbeard is here. Evening, Jim. Have you seen Black Widow? I don't know. I didn't know it came out. LOL. Cheers. I did. You can check out my review. I did it. Posted on Thursday. Sorry it was so late. But cheers to you. Thank you, non-binary neckbeard. I will say this about Stuckmann's thing is I thought the concept sounded cool. So I don't know anything about it other than his announcement. More reviewed than the Doug Walker classic, Zane Powers. That is a good point. I don't think it'll be that. See, I don't think it'll be that bad. I just think people will be gunning for him. So I hope he's ready for that. So cheers to you, Zane Powers. Austin, that is a good point about Bo Burnham. I was watching I finally started watching Inside Bo Burnham, and that was those first two songs. I watched that twice. That was a fucking great song. But I wish him the best. I wish him the best. Review Doug Walker review of The Wall. I did that, Adrian. You can go check it out. I did it when it came out. It was a movie crap short. All right. So Red Notice. Sorry, I shuffled cards. Red Notice, which is the major movie, which is a movie we should be talking about more. I'm a little surprised because it's going to be a major movie. And I wanted to talk about Netflix's release schedule because this winter is going to be about Netflix because they could fucking destroy this shit. And I do really like 8th Grade. I believe it was my second favorite movie of whatever year it came out. Very close to being number one. I forget what was it. Was that Spider-Verse year? I don't remember. Anyway, Red Notice coming out November 12th, right before Thanksgiving. This film stars Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, and Gal Gadot. If it is halfway decent, it's going to be killing it in the numbers. It'll be number one in the Nielsen's for the rest of the month. And then they have Gray Man, which is a Russo brothers directed thing. Gray Man is like their new thing. Chris Evans is in it, all this stuff. And there's rumors that could drop in December. If that is true, Netflix will dominate that season. However, the big wild card, and I keep saying it whenever that Spider-Man trailer drops, if it indeed, we all sort of know, but if it indeed has Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in that movie could be the first thing that breaks 100 million in a weekend. Assuming that we get the Delta variant of the coronavirus under control and, we don't have, a massive amount of death and all that stuff, then most likely we will, sorry, California did a mask mandate again, let's be real here. But if that trailer does not have Tobey Maguire, or Tobey Maguire is indeed not in it, which I think he probably is, then movie studios are fucked because they just do not have the goods other than Spider-Man compared to those two movies. So the spy movie with the Russo brothers and Chris Evans, that will be destroying it. Isn't it Ryan Gosling? And then, it's going to be interesting. So watch out for what's going on there. So, all right. I just wanted to bring that up. So the Free Guy reaction trailer thing. This was with Deadpool and Korg. Now, I was a little critical of this because I don't love it when you have super rich people go like, check out my Patreon. I'm like, I need that though. That's not as funny coming from super rich person. I don't love when you have super high profile, high paid people make fun of YouTube like that. I get that it's part of the spiel, but it just sort of bugs me. But I will say that I thought it was funny. I will give it to Ryan Reynolds for keeping this campaign for Free Guy, which has been exhaustively long, and keeping it interesting and keeping it trending on Twitter each time. Like, holy shit, dude. That is a hard thing to do, and he has really done it, and he deserves credit because, like, how many movies that have gotten delayed have lost steam? Like, look at, like, Candyman is, like nobody gives a shit anymore. Like, I feel like that's really, like, fallen off a cliff in terms of hype at this point. But, like, Free Guy, it feels like it's almost gotten more hype because of it. It's like, he's done an excellent job. He really deserves, Ryan Reynolds really deserves credit for that. I didn't think it was all that funny. It wasn't amazing. People were like, it means he's in the MCU. I'm like, did Kevin Feige produce it? Then probably, I don't know. I think he is. They can't get rid of Deadpool, but I give him credit for keeping that along and keeping that going and keeping for, that's not an easy thing. And I think that's the only movie I've seen be able to do it. He's really thrown everything at like them making fun of the release dates. Like, how many of those I would actually like to see, and I'm not joking about this actually, like a breakdown of that whole ad campaign by the time it comes out. I kind of am curious about that because I think they might have the most successful one, or the one of the better ones. Before we get into awards nonsense, with Palme d'Or, Emmy nomination things, I want to talk about the Barbie movie real quick. The Barbie movie, which is going to star Margot Robbie and be written and directed by Greta Gerwig. I believe Noah Baumbach's gonna, who I don't know if you know him, but he helped write Madagascar 3. They're coming together to make the Barbie movie. I think this could be interesting. I'm curious because Greta Gerwig, after Little Women, she can sort of write her own ticket. It made $100 million off of a literary adaptation, which is still a big name. I think people undervalued how big that was going to be. It was a great movie. I really liked it. I still like the 90s one is kind of the one I grew up with. I think people like the 30s one a lot, but the 90s one was the one my mom played a lot. And but I'm to be honest, like I think she could do something interesting with it. With Margot Robbie's a great producer. There's a lot of great people involved. I sort of have a good feeling about it. I can still please Greta Gerwig. Like, I liked when she was doing like the two Noah Baumbach films. I like Mistress America a lot, actually. I like Frances Ha a lot. I would like to see more of that. Maybe she feels like career-wise she's gone out of that, but those films and her Lady Bird are all really great. So I kind of want one of those again, but it's her career, not mine. So, Noah Baumbach also helped with Fantastic Mr. Fox. Did he, though? Did he? Let's be real. That was... What'd he do? Walk by set? Come on. Did he help? Isn't it more Roman Coppola and Wes Anderson? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. I'm not the biggest Baumbach fan. I didn't see the one with Adam Sandler that everyone likes, and that's a regret of mine. But I'm sure this movie will be good, and I know there is some people saying like, "Hey, don't tell Greta Gerwig what to do." But I do sort of want a smaller film from her. But I feel like if this bombs, it's not a big deal for her because she can just go back to that. So, and if it succeeds, maybe it's also like, what is she? Do you really want to see a Marvel movie from her? So maybe this is the best option if we're being real about it. You know what I mean? It's like the best option for her. So, and her getting together with, Margot Robbie might be the best situation if we're being real about it. So, Emmy nominations. We're going to talk about the the Enema nominations, who are just for like Tool cover bands. So it's between Enema of the State and Lazarolus or whatever the fuck. Anyway, the Emmys, who are apparently going to be hosted by Cedric the Entertainer, who I know has a show on CBS. I saw some people doubting that. Cedric the Entertainer, first off, is one of the kings of comedy. So anyone who's the kings of comedy, other than Steve Harvey, who seems like an awful person, can host whatever the fuck. Actually, you know what? I don't like D.L. Hughley either, and Bernie Mac's dead. So basically, Cedric the Entertainer is the only one of them who should be allowed to host things, but he is a talented comedian. I've noticed because he doesn't have the greatest track record or stuff, but I do think, I don't know. I think he could do a good job hosting. Maybe that's like his new thing. But he does do CBS shows. He does have a higher profile I think people give him credit for. However, I'll just go over the main categories, and then we will talk about animation, of course. In drama, things like The Boys was a bit of a surprise. Mandalorian getting a ton of nominations. Pose getting a Best Drama nomination. Pose getting a lot of nominations. The Emmys seem to... My problem with the Emmys is, when I grew up, and I'll get to comedy series, is that they basically would not pick any show I ever wanted to see, like ever. It was really annoying. And they were always kind of awful when I first got into like caring about entertainment and stuff. And I also felt like it's very rare that there's a show that Emmys really support that gets more attention because of the Emmys. Now, the Oscars are not a perfect system, but that usually happens to at least one movie a year. It's like one of the better things about the Oscars. Like, you're like, oh, cool, all these people are seeing Cold War or seeing Another Round or seeing, there's like some movie that gets a huge, great distribution deal and it's a weird foreign film and it's like the best, or an animated film or something like that. I don't see that as much with the Emmys. Like, I think if you were going to see Ted Lasso, you were going to, like, this is not like your big push. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we've all heard about Ted Lasso at this point. So I just don't buy it with that. I just don't think they're as good at it. But Ted Lasso got like a ton of nominations, like gobbled up the best supporting actor comedy thing. Ted Lasso was a good show. It was a solid season. I don't know if I think that, but I like that Pen 15 got a nomination. Hacks, which I saw some of, which I liked. I did not see Cobra Kai. This Is Us. I'm not sure if that show at this point. WandaVision getting a limited series was a bit of a surprise. As I May Destroy You, so forth. The animation nominations, however, Andy Bryant getting a show. I like Andy Bryant. I like that Kenan Thompson got 2 nominations. That was great. The Don Cheadle thing. Look, Don Cheadle is great. I love Don Cheadle. However, what was with that nomination? And then the reaction to the nomination was crazy because he was like, I don't know why I'm in here. It wasn't like an amazing part. And there are plenty of other guest actors like that older guy in it and so forth. Would have been better. But then you get into this weird thing where people are like, I think the Emmy nominees are racist. And I'm like, they probably are. So that part didn't offend me. But they meant to put Anthony Mackie. And I'm like, what? I'm with you, but they put him in like best guest star, it was like cameo kind of role. So like, not only are they racist, they're like, don't understand the categories. Like that, I've seen that a bit. I don't really like buy it. Like if Don Cheadle got best lead, I would have been like, what? Maybe you guys are racist. I don't know. That theory doesn't hold a lot of water for me. To be honest, I'm not saying it's like unbelievable, but I don't know. It's just like ridiculous. I think they're just like, we all like Don Cheadle, so why not? I'm surprised like I'm sure his agent made him put it in there and now he just feels stupid about the whole thing, but I would have gone in for No Sudden Move and all that. So the and then all the Hamilton nominations and I don't know, whatever. And Bowen Yang deserves his nomination, I will say, from SNL. So, and Dave Show, all the SNL like hosts who get Emmy nominations, that's a little weird to me. I gotta say, I'm not in love with that. I will say, Amber Ruffin got some stuff in there. Okay, so let's talk about our animation nominations. Animation is interesting because when you cover animation, most of what you cover is stuff that no one will ever, like when the media covers animation, they don't talk about it, which is always a problem. And in this, they picked pretty bad nominees, I gotta say. And it's pretty outdated with what's actually happening in the medium. I would actually say this is what I expect from the Emmys. So they did this animated program. They did Big Mouth, which I guess did they just like circle the same shit? Anyway, Big Mouth, Bob's Burgers, which I have fallen off with that. I don't really feel like I know that show at all. Like I watched season 1. I get the impression it's had many seasons since then. Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal, which is the only good nominee in all of this. I will say that one deserves it. Season 2 did not get enough attention. I'm glad it's getting in there again. The Simpsons, of course, and South Park, the Pandemic Special. Now, South Park has gotten too many Emmys. The Simpsons has way too many Emmys. Neither of them, I feel like they should be taken out of this. It's like, where is things like Owl House? Where is Infinity Train? People are saying Hilda. Hilda was up for daytime Emmys, not what these are, which is a primetime Emmys. Does it make any sense what's in what? No, but whatever. Hilda was submitted to that one just in case. Some questions about that. This is a horrible group of nominees. Other than Primal, like where's Midnight Gospel? Where's 12 Ounce Mouse? But they're never doing that. To me, it's like, just give it to Primal. I know it won the juried prize last time, which that's another animation. There's like 3 animation categories for primetime Emmys, they're gonna win. They're gonna win the juried ones. But to me, it's like between those three, only Primal deserves to be in there. Midnight Gospel was a big favorite of mine. I think that should be in there. Where's like close enough? There's so many good animated things right now. It's ridiculous. Hey Marley, by the way, all that stuff. Also, short form animated program. We have Love, Death, and Robots, which I do need to watch that. That is a big oversight of mine. Maggie Simpson in The Force Awakens from its nap. Once Upon a Snowman, which was the Olaf thing, which I don't know how that got in there. I give credit to Josh Gad for making those because apparently he was trying to make as many as possible for kids in quarantine. I have no problem with him doing that. I'm sure he got paid, but like, look, I had a kid in quarantine. When those came out, they meant a lot to her. So like that, I'm not necessarily judging. I wouldn't have nominated for an Emmy. And then Robot Chicken, which I guess it's just like, come on, really, just really pathetic. These nominees, I thought they did a really bad job. But the Olaf thing, it's like the Maggie Simpson one I'm really upset about. The Olaf one I'm less, because I remember Josh Gad doing interviews and it's like, look, thing is with the Olaf thing, I don't like Olaf, but let's respect that like Olaf is probably what R2D2 was to me when I was growing up. And if R2D2 made cartoons during like a massive plague in the 80s, because there wasn't one of those, it would have meant a lot to me if I couldn't go outside and was in. So I understand like there's probably a lot of kids who look back on those shorts very fondly. Anyway, sorry. All right. Amber Ruffin Show got some nominations. I thought that was pretty cool. Variety actually did do. Yeah, that was one criticism I will say about Emmy coverage. Is so many people like, click here for the complete nominations. That you click, it's just the major categories. You're like, go fuck yourself, Trey. It's like, come on, like, and it's one thing when it's like you're waiting for the auto refresh, but so many times like they don't do that. Okay, so the Palme d'Or stuff happened today. The last film to win that was Parasite, which is again only the second film to win Palme d'Or and Best Picture. There's only one American film who's done that, which is Marty, which by the way you should see, and then Parasite, which is obviously not American, but is the only other film to do that, by the way. But we'll see if this film does. It seems a little weird it doesn't happen a lot, so maybe it'll happen again in my lifetime, like once or twice. It'd be cool if it did. But Titane, is it Titani? I don't know. It's the second time a female director has won the Palme d'Or. The first time being Jane Campion for The Piano. And then Spike Lee accidentally announced the winner of the Palme d'Or at the beginning. That's fine. I don't think they've given him a Palme d'Or. So, and they famously didn't for Do the Right Thing, which I was surprised so much of the marketing was with Do the Right Thing. I was like, you could say it's for the Nike ads, but let's be real. But anyway. Zane Power says, what character helped you get through Spanish flu? The yellow kid, right? Was that the one with the yellow tarp thing? It's the first comic book character. Is that the yellow kid? I'm hoping that's not racist. Anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers. It was early Superman. The other thing is the director Leo Crooks won for Best Director. He was, of course, against a new film from Wes Anderson and Paul Verhoeven, and the guy who did the film Separation, whose name I can't. So, you know what's funny? You show you how YouTube channels change over time. My review of Separation was like my biggest review for a little bit, and like I don't know where it is in the rankings at this point, but it is definitely not what any of you know me for now. But in like 2011 or something, it was like the thing I was like most known for. But yeah, Leos Crocs, who did was it Annette, I believe. That won Best Director. Is it Annette? I was right. I didn't fuck it up. There we go, Jim. And then Tom McCarthy's Stillwater, which looks like a film that should have come out in the 90s. But I am excited for Annette. Holy Motors was great. And Blitty, thank you for saying that up. All right. So, Fairly Odd Parents. So, we heard there was a reboot previously. We know that Butch Hartman is an executive producer, which I want to clarify something about executive producer credits. Executive producer credits can be anything from I give notes on every script to a vanity credit where you just collect a percentage and you sit at home and don't actually do anything. Like it's a vanity credit. It really is. It's most known for that. Anything that's like sometimes associate produce. If you're producer like it says produced by, that person's on set. If they're any other producer, it gets a little dicier. In animation and so forth, there's other rules and guild rules to those things, and I'm sure there's other things that I don't understand. But I know executive producer is a vanity credit, so his involvement might not be as much. They might have to because of rights issues and things, and they probably don't want to cancel him. Should they cancel him? Probably. But they're not doing that. So whatever. This is about a different kid than Timmy Turner. I will say, I didn't really grow up with Fairly Odd Parents. I was like older. I have no problems with it. But Timmy Turner, I wish I was Drake Bell. No, you don't. Netbox 64. Cheers to you. Oh, we killed a Red Bull. All right. So the next one, I'm opening Red Bull, I guess. But this will be a live-action animation hybrid. Fred Seibert is also involved, supposedly, or executive producer, so, you know. But it sounds like at least an interesting idea to take it. I'm curious about this. I'm curious about the fandom, because we're kind of at an all-time low with the fandom in that, so I'm a little confused. I know Paramount Plus really needs big pushes. The Rugrats thing, I think there was a lot of push that weekend, and I heard, like, Sophie and other little kids actually talking about it, but that died down very quickly. This, at least, I think it could work, but I want to see something from it. But it's at least like an interesting take where you're like, oh, I could sort of see it. I'm curious what Butch Hartman's involvement is. I kind of think he's not, to be honest, but we'll see. I think they probably like just told him the concept and stuff, but I was not there. We'll see what the deal is with this. I do think it is probably going to be one of the more interestingly odd reboots that we've seen of the Paramount kind of shit. Because I think the other thing with the Paramount, you know, we had Nick All-Stars and all that stuff. I don't think a lot of this stuff, like, they really know what to do with reboot wise, and it's kind of hard to keep pushing. I do think the other thing with Paramount, and probably why they're in this reboot thing, is like they effectively, when Nickelodeon had Adventure Time and Regular Show and like the renaissance it had in the 2010s, Nick had Sanjay and Craig and then sat down and just collected SpongeBob money. I mean, it's like, the thing is like their two biggest properties are not Fairly Odd Parents and Rugrats. For kids right now, it's SpongeBob and Dora. Those are their biggest two. If I were them, I would be investing. The SpongeBob investment money makes so much more sense because kids will just watch anything SpongeBob. It is just a ridiculous treasure trove for kids right now. Dora, the same thing. Like, that Pluto Dora channel must make them a lot, because I know so many, like, we just put it on, and like the Dora movies on there, we watched that recently. I think I think Nick should really be prioritizing things like that, but they also should be putting things into development. I know they had shows just premiere, but like they need to have original shows, and they need to be a fucking aggressive. Like if I was them, I would really be like going after big creators like Netflix, because there's no way that brand's gonna survive. Although SpongeBob's kept them alive, but I think if they're smart, they'll do that. I think there's other things, and I get breadwinners, but they didn't push breadwinners like Sanjay and Craig. So I think they need to rethink a lot, I think. But relying on these reboots is like, it's not a good look. Like HBO Max Adventure Time, there's a lot of acclaim around that one. Like, we don't have the controversy, if you notice, other than Powerpuff Girls. That doesn't seem to work out. But they don't, it seems like with Nick, it's like kind of pathetic. Like with the All-Stars, I don't really talk about video games, but like with that thing and stuff, it's like they're very much relying on the Nicktoon thing. But it's like when they rely on the Nicktoon thing, it shows you like that brand isn't that old, you know, most of those things, but it feels like fucking outdated. Like, they need to come up with more stuff. Like, I just think they need to invest in more original stuff, because you can't. I do think Dora and SpongeBob are like forever brands, but you need a little bit more. But I don't know. And maybe plan on shutting down the cable channel. Not in Box 64. I actually read a thing about that. Open up a second one. Cheers to you, Nanbox. That's an option Viacom specifically has thought about. But we'll see. Okay. They need to bring back Mighty Mouse, Mattel, Butterfly. They should. I don't know. Is New Adventures on there? I have the DVD, so they should put New Adventures on Paramount Plus. They have the Max, but they don't have the Head. Those are two things I need to review. Oh fuck! I need to. There's a Head review that is in me that needs to get out at some point. I have those things in there. All right. So, what's going on with Universal? And this is a big question. So Universal is going to be pushing their DreamWorks animation and all their animation after it goes on Peacock. It's going to Netflix, and all their live action stuff is going to Amazon after it goes to Peacock. This isn't good for Peacock, and I think it sells, like, there's a lot of people saying, specifically since we just talked about what the fuck's going on Paramount, what the fuck's going on at Universal, that Peacock could be sold off, like shut down, and they could just be sold off and merged with someone, or those two could merge, which I think would actually be a better idea. There's going to be some shakeups with that, but them making deals like this kind of shows me they know the weakness in their own service. They've just invested a ton of money, and I was surprised they would make this deal this year. I actually like Peacock. I don't think it's a bad service, actually. I think it gets a lot of crap for like a service that actually like did a Pluto knockoff in their own service, as well as is like free, as well as like I love the Amber Ruffin show, which I think doesn't get as much attention when people shit talk Peacock. I notice they leave that show out. I like the little of the Saved by the Bell thing I could watch because it's behind a paywall that I won't pay for. It just, you know, and I enjoyed watching it when I did my USA Cartoon Express thing. So I think these deals make me think Universal knows they need to get rid of this, which stinks because I love the Amber Ruffin show, and it would really hurt if that went away. So I might, by the way, do a new Amber Ruffin show review when she gets an audience, because before she hasn't. And her video she made about black towns who get destroyed and then put lakes over them was like really good. Her How Did We Get Here segments are great. Her and Seth Meyers, they're like destroying late night right now. They're just so good. Nanbox64 says it is Comcast. So what do you expect? That's true. Cheers to you, Nanbox64. If I don't want more companies to merge. I just think I think Universal. I think I wouldn't be surprised like Netflix, if Netflix bought Universal, that could really work out for them. And then they could have NBC, and they could have SNL, which SNL, by the way, great YouTube channel, terrible TV show. like I love that. Anyway, is this the second casualty of the streaming war? I would say one of those are the most likely. Although I think Paramount, I actually pay for Paramount Plus just because of all the kids stuff. Like the Nick Jr. stuff, it really works out because Nick Jr., when they stopped showing those shows, it would disappear from the app. So if like your kid was into like, Sophie was into Nella the Princess Night for a little bit and they stopped showing it, and we were just like, oh great, her show's gone now. And so in terms of how that channel works, I think we'll do that. The A24 thing I will get to, or I can talk about that now, I guess. Why not? But did I cheers to you? Cheers to you, same powers. Is Quibi the first casualty? I don't know. Yeah, I'll talk about A24. Why not? I was going to talk about it. So A24 was apparently trying to sell for about $3 billion. I don't know if I have nothing against A24. I like the movies they pick. They're kind of my thing with the indie distributor of the moment, which is either Janus Films or Miramax or Fox Searchlight or whatever. They usually get a lot of credit. They don't usually have enough hits. A24 has not had that crossover hit that a Searchlight or a Miramax or any of those have had. I question going for that much unless they went to Apple, who does tend to spend that much. But I don't know if Apple really knows what to do with those things. I know they just got Ted Lasso, but I would say Ted Lasso's success is more to do with Jason Sudeikis and less to do with Apple's team. We'll see what happens with A24. I think A24, if they really want to be sold, they need something to cross 100 mil. And Miramax had that a couple times. Miramax knew how to do that. I don't like Weinstein, but that's the reality of it. Fox Searchlight had done that a few times. But A24 has not even come close to that. And I think they need to I know the box office is not there for it. If they're going to do it, they need to do it pre-pandemic. But anyway. Buster. No, he's just... Anyway. We'll see. So Tiny Toon Adventures, we're here. These are kind of two quick things. We're hearing that the voice of Bugs will be in it. He'll be more of a dean this time, and it's going to take place almost directly after the original Buster. It's going to take place almost directly after the original Tiny Toons. I think that will be pretty cool if you ask me. I'm excited for it. So there's that, as well as Silverhawks, the animated show kind of ripoff of Thundercats, which I actually had toys of, is getting some sort of a reboot. We don't know what it's going to be. I don't think Silverhawks has the nostalgia unless they have a good take on Buster. Come here. You want to talk about Silverhawks? Come here. You want... No? Oh, he's rejected the stream, guys. I'm so sorry. And, back... we have a bunch of short things. Matt Shakmann, who did WandaVision, of course, had his press release timed with all the WandaVision Emmy nominations to talk about... no, Buster ate already, don't worry. To talk about how he got to direct a new Star Trek movie. Does that matter? Probably not, because so many people get attached to these Star Trek movies and they never go anywhere. I don't know if Star Trek is the franchise it used to be. It doesn't seem to be getting more views. It doesn't seem to be getting more viewers and fans. It seems to be just keeping old fans. And that's sort of the issue with, I think, the Star Trek fandom currently. Because I know a lot of people who watch Picard and Discovery and all that stuff. And it just seems like people who always watch it, and that's fine for right now. But if you want it to be more than that, you have to come up with a new way. People are saying if he is involved because he's not a named director, that they will have to bring back the Chris Pine cast. We do not know if that is happening, but we'll see. It seems like all Chris Pine, those people want like huge pays, and Paramount doesn't want to give it to him. But I think because Paramount needs to have something with this Star Trek thing, maybe they will. And we'll see if Matt Shakmann ends up directing it. I don't know if this franchise is where it needs to be because the Justin Lin thing didn't work out, which is unfortunate because I thought that was much more like the TV show, even though the ending sort of stinks. But in Abrams, the new Star Trek movies, all the endings suck. Like even the Abrams one, which people sort of like, and I liked at the time, it's so fashionably shot. And it's just they just need someone to redo that. I think the other reason executives care about Star Trek is a real, if you know the history of Hollywood, do you know who got their biggest big bump as an executive for shepherding Star Trek movies? Jeffrey Katzenberg. That was his first big success thing, was that he got Star Trek to become a movie franchise. So I'm sure if you're an executive who reads about the history of Hollywood, you're like, oh, well, I'll be like Jeffrey Katzenberg. I'll make my own Quibi, motherfuckers. Nothing will stop me. Ha ha ha. All right, anyway. All right. So in two quick things and then a more of a complicated thing, the Joe Exotic Nick Cage show has been canceled. I think most of these Joe Exotic Tiger King things that got announced are not going to happen. I think it was just like people... That whole thing is over. Although I've seen Netflix pushing it more for people, but whatever. We also learned that James Gandolfini was offered $4 million to do a season of The Office and replace Steve Carell. I forget if he was in that episode where they had all these big guest stars do like cameos as like the new boss and stuff like that, and then James Spader came on. And supposedly HBO, when he was offered this $4 million, gave him $3 million basically not to do it. No one's sure what the deal is, because this was after The Sopranos were over and before the night of happened. So were they protecting like the night of happening? Were they protecting the reputation of The Sopranos? Did they just not want to give The Office anything? Because they did have a lot under development with James Gandolfini. Were there other projects in development that this would hinder? We really don't know, but we do know apparently the cast in some podcast around with Ricky Gervais, who he was in that episode. I forget, I didn't look this up actually, if James Gandolfini is in that episode. I sort of think he might have been. But I think that could have been interesting. I sort of wish that would have happened. I think Robert California, that whole thing kind of fucking sucks. So, Austin says, Golden Arm Poison Quibi got snubbed for Emmy. That's true. I think that would have been last year, right? I don't know. I think it still got snubbed. I'm with you, Austin. Cheers to you. The Steve Carell movie, Incredible Burt Wonderson. I remember reviewing that. I barely remember that movie. So Anthony Bourdain has a documentary. I wanted to bring this up. We still have some time. I wanted to bring this up because it is an interesting topic. I'm not a big Anthony Bourdain fan. I've never really got it. I've always heard good things about him. I will say, this is a funny Momocan story. Maybe I've told this. I think I was walking somewhere in the CNN Center where Momocan was. So I think it was with Izzy and a couple, maybe it was some roundtable people or something. And I was bringing up, I was like, man, they really push these guys. And they had all these CNN posters everywhere. And I said, man, they really push this guy. It was that one guy who cried after Trump won and became a big star in it, Anthony Bourdain. And I was like, man, CNN's really pushing these guys. And they all looked at him and go, I don't know who these people are. And I was like, you don't know who these people are? And they're like, none of them had any clue. They were not famous to the cartoon community, which I thought was very funny, because I was anywhere else I go, I have to hear about these people all the time. But now, oh God, and these are not famous at all. This is very funny. Anyway, I always remember that. So, Anthony Bourdain, sorry, not to call them out, but I think it was Nemo, Retro Nemo. Man, I haven't seen Nemo in a while. He was a cool kid. All right, so Anthony Bourdain, sorry. We need to have another Momocan. It sucks. Anthony Bourdain, there's a documentary about him. The idea of this documentary, I'm going to present this correctly, is basically it shows clips and footage, kind of, this is his life kind of documentary. Buster, come on, man. You want to talk about Anthony Bourdain? You were a fan for a little bit. I mean, we saw the Captain Planet on both trips. Not plausible, for the record. Anyway, come here. He's almost here. Oh, there he is. Want to be on the stream? No. Was that Mo or no? Mo? Do you want to talk about Anthony Bourdain with me? Do you want to say hi? Okay. That hurt a little. Okay. Anyway, so, sorry. This is actually a serious topic, and I'm being a fucking goober. So Anthony Bourdain, it's basically a regular documentary about his life. In one section of it, there was an email, a rather dark email that had some suicidal thoughts or so forth in it. I do not know what this email has in it, but basically sent it, and they were able to, through audio recordings and so forth, kind of stitch it together. So he's sort of speaking this email. They did not have audio recordings of all of it. Supposedly what the filmmakers decided to do, and this is horrifying, is make a AI program with Anthony Bourdain's voice and sort of make him speak this email that he did not make an audio recording of. Apparently, when people saw the documentary, they did not know this, and they thought it was a little weird, but it didn't call to mind until the director pointed this out in an interview, saying his literary agent had approved this use of this weird AI project using Anthony Bourdain's voice, using the voice of a dead man. And he also said his widow, not Asia Ardento, but the woman he had divorced, I believe. I don't know the whole status of that. And then she said she had not signed off on that. And I don't know about the literary agent. But the point is that basically what they did is he made an AI of a dead man, basically, who could not have recorded him talking this email. This is real. And then made him do that, basically, without his consent, because he's dead, and they did that. And yeah. So, he was first revealed it in an interview with Slash Film. I will talk about them. They're having changes this week later. But they did a nice podcast where they played the interview in question. He sort of trails off in their interview going, his literary agent and other people, that's not why they reveal this. Oh my God. And then, yeah. So here's the thing. Documentary has long had an issue with the fact that they get away with a lot. They get away with a lot of ethics. They get away with a lot in narrative because most people don't understand how documentaries are made, first off, and most people don't care. They just like watch it at face value. Documentary also is not popular enough for you to really go through those things unless it's like Michael Moore. Everyone's done that, so it's like whatever. This is pretty bad. When when Disney made Rogue One, they actually did go to Peter Cushing's estate and speak to them. Legally, by the way, with Peter Cushing, they didn't have to, because they own that performance, unfortunately. So they could legally do that. They chose, by the way, not to just go, well, fuck you, legally we can. They went to the family. This documentarian did not have a sign-off. I hope he gets sued. I'm not going to see this movie. I will see a different movie about Anthony Bourdain at some point, but if you do not like this, and you were planning on seeing this documentary, do yourself a favor and never see this movie ever, and if your friend's like, I'm going to see that movie, and I'm like, oh, hey, do you like creepy AI things that will somehow speak for us after we're dead? And they're like, ew, no. I'm like, then do not pay to see this movie. In fact, I would tell you to torrent it, give it to your friends who are going to see it, and that's probably what you should do with this movie. Because fuck the person who made this. I would actively say steal this. Because this was like not cool, not morally okay. I don't like that they did this. I don't like that they didn't have the permission from the people who, from his loved ones, from his family. It seems like this filmmaker just did this to make his documentary better. And I don't like that he let this email out. He could have just had the person talk about it. There's a lot of morals about this that are fucking icky. And I think we should be talking. There's a lot about documentary and using real life stories that we need to talk more about, particularly true crime. I like hearing about true crime, but we are sort of exploiting basically the worst moments in someone's life for entertainment. And there's morally that's very not cool. I understand sometimes these are to catch criminals and so forth, and I'm a little more okay with that. But we need to have more conversations about this. This is a case in general that I'm talking about, and I will actively tell you, I will not review this movie. I will not see this movie and give up any hype for it. I think this is fucked up to all hell, and fuck this director. I really do think they should be penalized in some way, because I think it is a moral line they crossed, and I question them as a documentarian. And if I do see a documentary from them and I see this, I will automatically go, oh, because I'll know their authorial voice is compromised, because they're far more interested in getting the shot than actually telling a story. This person was not interested in telling a story. He's a real filmmaker, is a problem solver, and I guess his way of solving this problem was to be let's just say a horrible person, and I don't care. So steal this movie, you should do that. So in funner news, I guess, sorry, I know that's not the coolest thing, but I wanted to do that. Arsenio Hall will be guest hosting for Jimmy Kimmel I think this is actually really cool of Jimmy Kimmel to do this, or whoever booked it to have Arsenio Hall come back. I know we had that show later on that didn't work out, but I think it's cool to have Arsenio Hall come back as a guest host. I thought that was really cool of Jimmy Kimmel. I don't often like Jimmy Kimmel, but I think that's really cool. Also, I like someone went, also, James Franco's real sticko. All right, little known fact. Did you know James Newton Howard of Sixth Sense and Dark Knight fame was the composer of the original Space Jam? I did not know that. Thank you, Nat and Box 4. Cheers to you. I knew, and I don't know their names now. Not that this is a call-out thing. Is that I knew kids who wanted the Space Jam soundtrack, and their mom bought them the orchestral score version. I did notice, I will say, the R. Kelly of this whole thing, No, I Believe I Can Fly, in this is funny because the legacy of Space Jam is so tied to that song for so long, and because it's R. Kelly, they clearly said no to that. All right, so, man, I need to cut my hair. It's like all over the place with this. Amazon has signed a deal, and Toonerific Tariq and I were actually talking about this on Twitter. I like that guy. That Norman Lear's library has signed a deal with Amazon for All in the Family, the Jeffersons, Room 227 mod, all that good stuff with Amazon, IMDb TV, and Amazon. That's going to be really cool. I would love to just rewatch. I've seen most of All in the Family. I had to do it through syndication with an episode guide that was printed out. I used to be a massive All in the Family fan, and I'd seen most of it, but in like this bizarre order for whenever the fuck they aired it. So it would be interesting to actually sit down and go from one to the end. That's how you used to have to watch a show. You had to print out a fucking episode guide, but and like have it by your TV and go like, I got to record this at this time. I got to be home, and it was nuts. But yes, I think this is going to be a significant deal for Amazon because All in the Family is a great show. If you've never seen All in the Family, when it gets on Amazon, check it out. Maybe I'll review the first episode or something. I used to love that show. I loved that show. It is a fucking great show because I knew so many people would talk so great about it or praise it so much. Future Boy Conan has finally gotten a distribution deal. I know Ian and Rebecca love that show. It is a great show, and I'm glad it got a good distribution deal. We also we could use a man like Herbert Hoover again. Nice. Cheers to you. We also a couple things, and then I guess we'll do a break. Marc Cherry, famously from Hair Love, has a show in development with Cartoon Network. I'm curious where this goes. Called Bayou, I guess. We'll follow Chicago teens or a young group of misfit dreamers who move to their own beat. It will follow Chicago teens Otis and Jada. I don't know why did I say Jada. Who are gifted dancers but free spirits who find themselves outcast in the world of mainstream dance. They join a troupe of Hiplet, a mix of hip-hop and ballet dance dancers, where they find acceptance among their peers and instructors. That could be cool. We'll see what's going on with that. I mean, there's not much to go off of, but from the pictures and so forth, they look cool. We learned that Netflix is considering making video games on their service, making their term Netflix mean literally nothing at a certain point. I'm not a gamer or anything like that, but I will say I think this is a smart move for Netflix. No other streaming service is planning this at all. I know they have their interactive things, like they have a Spirit interactive thing. They had the Bandersnatch, which was the one that more people talked about. I think they had a Minecraft one and a couple others, but most of the time, the people who run Netflix, when they talk about competition, do not talk about HBO Max or Disney. They talk about Twitch, which makes me think this is not something that's new. It's something that we've just learned about. I'm curious what they're going to offer and what they're able to get the rights to and what they're able to develop and how that's going to work in their service and what, all those sort of things. But I think it could be very competitive for them, and they might be looking at this is really where the internet's going more into gaming, and I'm sure they'll still make movies and TV, but gaming is so profitable, and so much if they're able to make, have a bunch of indie games or have an interesting game, I think it could do well. From my outsider view. But I'm not surprised because they've brought up gaming so often. I think in terms of the dominance of them as a media company, it just sort of makes sense, and it's something they've hinted at through talking about Twitch and things like that for a long time. So anyway, I'm sure Ninja will get $30 million more to be on Netflix. Not surprised there. So Robert Downey Jr. is doing a show with A24 actually. This is it's called The Sympathizer, but he is not the lead. I want to preface that. He is not the lead. It is brought to you by Park Chan-wook, who's the director of Oldboy, who will be directing it. And it's about I think it's a half Vietnamese, half French spy. So obviously that will not, Robert Downey Jr. is not doing that, but he's going to be playing this villain who changes different roles. He'll be able to show off his range. This sounds like a really cool role for Robert Downey Jr., the kind of role he's needed for a long time, actually. And I think him doing this is actually kind of cool. I think it could be really cool, especially for Park Chan-wook, who did Little Drummer Girl, which is where Florence Pugh jumped off from. I think it's good for Robert Downey Jr., who doesn't seem to want to do. He kept talking shit about doing smaller movies, but doing a prestige TV might be pay-wise work for him. So, man, the lightning I can see from my window is kind of crazy. But it sounds actually really cool, and him having a good supporting role is like before we got Iron Man is what made him uberly famous. All right, so we had as only have a few things, and then we'll talk about Obits, which I do really want to talk about actually. We got Warner Brothers has had a LA Confidential sequel actually with Chadwick Boseman attached and Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce, and they rejected it. It was going to be a sequel that took place in the 70s, which that actually sounds interesting. We don't really know what it would have been beyond that. Antonio Banderas is cast in Indiana Jones 5. I can't think of a better character to be cast in Indiana Jones, or actor, not character, to be cast in Indiana Jones other than Antonio Banderas. That sounds really, I would love if he was the villain. I think he would kill it. That sounds really cool. We got the teaser for Chucky, the Chucky Show. It looks so classic USA. It's on USA Sci-Fi, but it looks like USA from the 90s, those ads and stuff. But it's apparently more Child's Play 2, because that's apparently what the fan base likes more, but we'll see about that. The other thing is two things before we get to Obits. The Blue Bayou trailer. This is a trailer I saw today. I'd heard a little bit about it. It actually looked really cool. It's a pretty great trailer, actually, about a guy who's like of Asian descent, basically lives in New Orleans, and he's taking care of I don't know if it's his daughter, but the daughter of this woman and him, and they're a very close family. And because of a scuffle they have basically with a police officer in a store, he is sort of gonna get deported and could lose his whole family because of ICE, basically. And it really grabbed me, and I was a little surprised by it, and it looked pretty cool, and it looked like he would have to go back to a life of crime to make money to pay for a lawyer to get out of ICE, because he was like, he's been in America his whole life, but he was he's been in America his whole life, but he has been sort of stuck in or he's been in America his whole life, but his papers weren't done correctly, and so he kind of got screwed over from that. But it looked like a pretty cool trailer, to be honest. I think, I don't know, but yeah, Blue Bayou. I would check it out. I haven't heard too much about it. I need to tweet it out at some point or something. Anyway, all right, so let's just talk about the Obits right now, because we've had some pretty substantial obituaries. What was I going to say? Sorry. So first off, in the past week we lost Richard Donner, which that was a pretty big one since he directed Superman the movie and probably some of the better parts of Superman, to all the Lethal Weapon movies, Goonies, so many classic films, Maverick, The Omen. One thing I think people forget about him is he's a really good studio director, as well as the fact that there are two films that are considered to break out of the release model, which was the wide release model, which was Jaws in 75 and Star Wars in 77. But there was a film between those two that did the same thing, and that was The Omen. And so he in 76, so he actually should get the credit, same credit that Spielberg and Lucas did. He was a great director, and I think I didn't hear a response from Patty Jenkins actually, but she was so inspired by him and she mentioned him a lot. I know in the interviews I heard around Wonder Woman 1984, she would mention him quite a lot. But we would not have superhero things the way we are today without him, and wouldn't have Lethal Weapon. We wouldn't have, I guess, Mel Gibson. But he was a pretty substantial, amazing director. As well as Robert Downey Sr. He was an experimental filmmaker, an experimental indie art director who, I liked Robert Downey Sr. I liked Putney Swope, was kind of the one people remember most. I also like Greaser's Place, which is another pretty substantial. Well, not substantial, but one I liked. I thought it was kind of a weird one. I've seen, I think, a couple others, but those are the two I saw out the most to me. Obviously, he's most known because of his famous son, but he was an interesting director in his own right. If you've never seen Putney Swope, it's a major indie classic. And then finally, Biz Markie. I obviously like Biz Markie. I know it was in that video I was talking about picking boogers. I had the two Biz Markie albums. I know Spotify does not cover Biz Markie as well as they should, but those first two Biz Markie albums are just classics to me. I actually finally re-listened to Just a Friend. I kind of hold that one off because I don't want that to overpower it, but Just a Friend's pretty fucking good, I gotta say. But between the Vapors, Nobody Beats the Biz, all those things, he was a presence in hip-hop. He was a presence that a lot of these people, like people he's even associated with, like Big Daddy Kane, everyone he came up with would disappear, and you wouldn't see them in the culture, and they put out an album every 5 years. Biz Markie wasn't like that. Biz Markie was on Hello Nasty by the Beastie Boys. He toured with the Beastie Boys. He was in Men in Black 2. He was DJing. He was doing funny things. He was on MTV. He was doing everything. You couldn't stop Biz Markie. There's a reason he was on Yo Gabba Gabba. It's like there's so many things about his life that showed you and reminded you the power of hip hop, and he loved it. He loved rap music. He loved hip hop. He loved that kind of music, and he made it. He made himself a presence all throughout, and I think he's one of the great things that art form has produced. And it's sad to see him go. He's someone who I always really liked. I think The Vapors is a great song. Snoop Dogg's cover is also really good, by the way. But he was awesome, and I think the fact that he, even showing hip hop to kids, all those things, I think he really had a pretty great connection to hip hop and that community. And he just, I don't know, it's just sad to see him. It was sad to see him go. So, I think we all knew it was going to come. I was kind of hoping, because it's been a while, that maybe he was getting better, although he was in hospice care, but that was maybe too optimistic of me. But it's sad to see him go. So, all right. I will take a break. Then we're going to do the review of the Space Jam commercials, Hair Jordan and Aerospace Jordan. And then as well as the first 3 episodes of Monsters at Work, and then we will do questions. So I will be right back after a quick break, and it'll just be the wall. I don't have anything. I don't know if Ace the Wind Rider did a picture. I understand he's probably busy. So I will be right back, and I will see you very shortly. And thank you all for being here, by the way. And yeah, I will be right back after this. everyone. Hope you can hear me. Wait, how is everyone? Sorry, had to check on some stuff. Okay, let's talk about two things here. So I should have clarified this at the beginning. I am talking about like several episodes of things and two commercials and like I should have put it. Okay, that was Sophie. I need to go check on her. I will be right back. I'm so sorry. Sorry. I will be right back, everyone. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. The kid needed some water. She's back in bed. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I did talk about the Emmy noms. Don't worry. Sorry. Um, there, there's some thunder and light. I mean, I'm not sure where you are, Toon J, but anyway, sorry. She's okay. She just woke up, needed some water, needed her little sound machine, but she's okay. It's okay. All right. Let's do this. The interesting life of being a parent. Okay, so let's get to these segments. First, these are two segments. I'm talking about several things. One is Space Jam commercials. Others some monsters at work. Wow, that was a big lightning. And let's do this. All right, so I'm going to talk about the first commercial that ended up being. Sorry, I'm going to talk about. During this, I'm going to talk about the two commercials that basically sort of inspired the original Space Jam or gave them the idea, or Michael Jordan's agent basically the idea that they should make a movie of these commercials. And they were highly marketed at the time. And I can kind of tell you some nostalgia and some things about it as well. So the first one was Hair Jordan. I remember this coming on during the Super Bowl. I remember it being a big deal. I don't remember that. I remember like it's kind of loose and I was like a little kid. So excuse that. But I remember this one. And then I more remember actually Aerospace Jordan, which is them dealing with, which is different from the first one. Now, the first one, these kind of work in interesting ways. So the first one is about actually Bugs Bunny is woken up because he lives right under a basketball court, which is not a good place to live, but he does anyway. And so he lives there. And he wakes up. He goes, "Hey, quiet down!" And they get mad because it is a basketball court. In all fairness, and then Michael Jordan, he was like, "I'll play you in this game of basketball. I'm Hair Jordan, and then I have Air Jordan, and him and Michael Jordan play a game of basketball." And they actually have really good chemistry. I will say, Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan, like it really actually does work very well. And these are both also directed by the guy who would eventually direct Space Jam. I should point that out as well. But then they make Aerospace Jordan, where Marvin the Martian steals all the Air Jordan shoes all over the world and has them all, and Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny have to go and get them back, and then they actually play a basketball game against animated bird characters, and this kind of was the maybe a little more feels a little more Space Jam-y in this one. Now, if you didn't know, in terms of old silent shorts, yes, I'm going there. Silent short series you had Out of the Inkwell, which was by the Fleischer Brothers, where basically a animated character would come into a live action world. Then you had the Alice comedies, which are done by Walt Disney and mostly Up Iwerks. I think Walt just like signed the checks. I don't know what he did, but he's an executive. What's his legacy? But so Walt, but Alice would go into the animated world. So they were kind of like the same concept but different. This is how both these are. In Hair Jordan, Bugs Bunny is in the live action world. In Aerospace Jordan, Michael Jordan is in an animated world. So, which I actually thought was interesting. It's like, okay, let's do it in both ways. I'm sure there wasn't an animator who made that distinction, but maybe. But it is interesting they have both of those things. I don't know if there's a connection. Maybe it's just me showing off that I know a bit about animation history. I don't know, but that's what I got from it. I did actually, and I'm not joking about this, I actually had a shirt of Aerospace Jordan, which, when there's a video later, there'll be a thing on the screen. Sorry, I didn't get to do that in time. But I actually had the shirt. I remember having the shirt. I remember feeling super cool with my Aerospace Jordan shirt. I actually looked up Aerospace Jordan shirt, and I found it, and I did feel really cool at the time in elementary school wearing that shirt. I thought it was really cool. I got it for Christmas for somebody. They do break the fourth wall a lot in the second one. They bring up, they actually have one where they show a shoe and they say production shot. Like, I've never seen that before in a commercial. It was like very pointing out, but it's like so big. I also think the second one is better directed. They have more fun with the camera. Clearly the budget was probably insane, because then you were going to mass market the fuck out of it at that point. And which they did, and because the Hair Jordan thing was such a massive thing at the time. And I do think, like, the other thing is Michael Jordan is basically like a Looney Tune. Him in the first one, they do a thing, and Bugs is kind of sitting back with a book, like reading and stuff like that. And then and Jordan's doing a basket, and Bugs is doing something, and Jordan does the same gag, and like he does Looney Tunes kind of gags a lot with Bugs, which I think is also like what made these so much fun. Rewatching these commercials, I was like, these are actually more fun than any of the Space Jams, because it's fun seeing these basketball players do these quick things. Now, there's so much quick cutting and stuff, that kind of momentum you couldn't keep up for a movie, or you couldn't try to. I'm going to say that. I think if you did, that would be amazing. Like, it would be like Speed Racer on acid or something, or Speed Racer on speed, probably. Which that sounds horrific, but these were huge, and I do remember people liking them so much. And the Porky Pig things at the end, it almost felt like they understood at the end of the first one that people knew the logic and the world of these commercials, and they kind of play off of that as well. But the one thing I've noticed about this is, a lot of times when you read about it, people say, oh, well, they wanted to bring back the Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes weren't as popular. I want to like kind of squash that rumor, like that Michael Jordan made them more popular. Certainly this started a merchandising bonanza, the likes of which had not been seen with Looney Tunes in a while. But Looney Tunes had just been on Nickelodeon. They had the Bugs Bunny and Tweety show on Saturday morning cartoons. They were not like this obscure weird thing or something like that. They were still around and in the public eye like all the time. This just made them like super cool and stuff like that. But I like the quick cuts of it. It definitely gets the momentum of a quick Looney Tunes kind of commercial. There are a lot of different versions of Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny doing commercials together. There's an MCI commercial. There's all sorts of stuff. But these Nike ones have a certain rhythm and wonderful vibe to them that I really actually recommend them, because especially Aerospace, like sometimes when the camera moves around the basketball court, them playing these big Martian type guys and everything like that, I really like the whole view of that whole thing. I just think it's really wonderful. And Yeah, I think it shows you and reminds me like why these things were so cool, because it's like it's fun seeing someone who like you saw who would be very serious in like the McDonald's ads and all that crap be like funny with Bugs Bunny, and like they had great chemistry. I like Jordan more. If you really want to see where it started with Hair Jordan, I think they're still impressive. I think they're actually very well directed, and it looks like it took like a while to shoot those things, doing each of those cuts and shots and having them set up as well and things like that. It flows and moves very well, probably maybe even better than Space Jam, the movie, but maybe because you needed very little setup for them to just do wacky things, which is also no, bless her hair, which is also why I think those things work so well. Well, it's also why Looney Tunes work so well, is you need very little setup and you just bounce wacky things off of it, and that's effectively what these do. They work as Looney Tunes because you have a very little setup. It's like Bugs is fighting Elmer Fudd, Daffy and Porky go on an adventure, Sylvester and Tweety attack each other, Roadrunner, Coyote, you know what that is. You just need very little setup, and that's essentially what these are. Marvin the Martian takes all the Air Jordans. They go to save them. Bugs has to fight some basketball bullies. Michael Jordan's there to help him. That's the cartoon. That's it. And that's all you need. And that's why these cartoons worked as well. I have a lot of nostalgic memories for them. I loved watching them as a kid. And I still like sort of watching them now. It was a lot of fun going down memory lane and enjoying these shorts. And I sort of get why you want a movie of this after watching them, because they do have like a lot of potential. I don't know if the movies ever got as much potential as these cartoons, but I definitely understand why they went down that road in the first place. All right. All right. Let's now talk about. Hold on. Sorry about this. Monsters. So now I'm going to talk about Monsters at Work. This is a show on Disney Plus. It is the actual first sequel to Monsters Inc., Monsters University, in fact, being a prequel. This takes place basically a day after the events of Monsters Inc., when laughing has become the new source of energy, and they're trying to figure out the company. However, this is not just about Sully and Mike Wazowski. It is about a new guy named Tyler who is accepted as a scare into Monsters Inc. And his first day, of course, is the first day after the whole kind of basically changeover. And he doesn't even actually know about the whole laughing thing till he gets there, and he has to sort of figure out where he's going to fit in a changing world. He's sent off to work at MIFT, which is basically the is it called what does MIFT stand for? I keep forgetting it, and I should have written it down. But MIFT is basically the kind of the maintenance facilities team who helps fix things. I'm sure someone in the chat will correct me, but he has to fix things and like that, and also take comedy lessons during lunch. He's trying to kind of become a comedy guy because he was trying to be a scare, and obviously the world changed. And in MIFT, he kind of meets a ragtag group of people who are the maintenance department, and he sort of like thinks he's kind of better than them while also being a part of them and stuff like that. What I liked about this, and I've definitely worked with some people who in companies more like MIFT than like Monsters Inc. Really, I appreciated how it got the kind of family dynamic when you're kind of the outcast in a larger company. Whoa, I just saw that lightning. That was crazy. Sorry, that kind of outcast dynamic when you're in a larger company like that. And how you kind of become a little weird family, and even though everyone's sort of like making fun of your little family, you still like really love being together. I also like the idea of the young, like the kind of reversal of the kind of older guys, Mike and Sully, being part of the change, and the younger kid being kind of more set in his ways and trying to figure out this changing world is a nice role reversal. Actually, I think that's actually kind of smart. You might say that's like, obviously written by an older writer, to say like, oh, the kids don't know everything, but it is actually a good writer dynamic, I will say. But the other thing I will say about it, I like the voice cast, Ben Feldman as Tyler, Mindy Kaling, isn't, I thought that was Mindy Kaling. Why was I keep saying, Wait a minute. I have a question about that. That's interesting. How come it says Kelly Marie Tran on... What? That's so weird. On Google, it says Kelly Marie Tran, but on Wikipedia, it says Mindy Kaling. But it did sound like Mindy Kaling. I'm so lost now. Anyway, but someone plays Val Little, who's his kind of friend from school, who, and I like the dynamic of, it's basically like two plot lines: the Miff plot line where they have to fix something and he has to deal with like the dynamics in that department, and the Sully Mike plot, because Billy Crystal and John Goodman are busy. Well, John Goodman's busy. Let's put it that way. But I like those two plot lines. It plays a little like a Disney afternoon show in positive and negative ways. Like they took a baby to like a baseball game. That was just stupid. Like that's kind of dumb. I like more of the dynamics of them trying to figure out this world and the whole idea of Miffed. But when they go away from that, I don't like the show as much. I think the show actually has a lot of potential to do something. I as the show goes on, I don't feel like it's kind of getting into that potential, and I understand that this is a kid show and that's what it's trying to do, but I kind of feel like it could do a little bit more. I've never liked any of the follow-ups of Monsters Inc. as much as I like Monsters Inc. And I feel like I don't know, I do like this more than I've seen any of them before. I just feel like the two dual plotline thing kind of shows more of its weaknesses than its pluses. But I like the idea of him realizing like, hey, I disregard these people. I don't respect them necessarily, but it's actually impressive what they're able to do as a team. Is a good. I actually think that's interesting because I found that myself in my working life, where I'm working with someone and at first you go, oh, they can just do that, and you're like, holy shit, like that's amazing, like you can do that, and you like learn out of like working. It's like, I don't know what it's necessarily called, but you kind of respect someone for knowing like, oh, you're actually like, that's amazing, like holy shit, like I can't, and you kind of learn from people on the job that way. And I actually really like that. I thought that was actually a really smart plot point in this, and I think it's going to show like maybe Tyler has a point in the show where he has to pick one or the other, and he might not pick what we think he's going to pick, which I actually think could be really interesting. I like those dynamics to it, but so far I'm a little like, I think it's trying to be a little too goofy and silly, and it's like the whole thing is goofy and silly, so you don't really need to push that. Like just staying in the office, the baseball game thing, like I think was a little pushed too far, and I like the Tyler storylines more than Sully and Mike Wazowski, and I really like those characters. So that probably says something. But it is interesting trying to them to figure out what's going on. They keep having power outages, trying to like this transitional period. So it's an interesting fertile ground. I'm probably going to stick with it. I don't know if I'll review it more, but I like what they're doing so far. And yeah, I find it to be a pretty good show, and I like where it's going. We'll see where it's going so far. It's not like the most impressive, amazing show, but it is like taking on ideas and things that you'd be surprised by, especially if you've, had a job or a 9 to 5 and stuff. It kind of illuminates that world probably more than you'd expect it to, and those realizations you get from working those kind of jobs. All right, let's now get to the questions. Now, Austin has a question, but I think his should go last for obvious reasons. Because it's like, you got to end it. I'll do Nathaniel Focus too first. What's the best thing you've eaten at a movie theater? I would say probably when I went to movies at Nighthawk, they had some really great food. They had a great burger. They had a great, their queso was amazing. I'd say one of those. He also asked, what's an anime property you're shocked hasn't gotten a revival yet? I would say actually Mighty Mouse, considering all the Superman stuff and superhero stuff for kids. Actually, I was thinking like, you don't have to do the John K. Ralph Bakshi one, but like you could reboot it in a way, and I'm sure it would actually do well. Kids like superheroes, and that's a perfect one for kids. Sinram asks, in your opinion, which films have the best needle drops? American Graffiti would be one of them, for sure. All the needle drops in that. I would say Pulp Fiction. Tarantino is just excellent at it. So it's like Tarantino or Edgar Wright. I would also say the one soundtrack I love is Alphabet City, and that's up there. I would say Nowhere to Run from the Warriors, I think that's a really great needle drop. I like that. And it's like an actual, like, you see the needle drop, like it's an actual needle drop. I would say that right there. Also, I'm blowing bubbles from Public Enemy, which the 30s one, which they play in various different versions. And then in the Sopranos episode where he's watching Public Enemy, they continued that tradition. Sopranos, I like that song. Sopranos was a smart show. That was a fucking great reference there. Jordan Bashars asks, what have you recently finished watching, currently are watching, and want to start watching next? Things, I did watch one, what's it called? One No Sudden Move. Sorry, the Sonnenberg thing. I really like that, and I actually watched it twice. That's not a joke, because I really wanted to do a good review, and I shot it. I don't know when it's coming out. But I really like that. I'm starting Inside Bo Burnham. I think that's pretty amazing so far. I was really shocked by how much I liked it. I'm watching Monsters at Work, obviously. I've been watching random episodes of The Muppet Show just to give me some joy. I've been watching the new Looney Tunes. I think that's all the things. I watched the CNN thing, History of Late Night, and I only had part one, and part one was great, and they didn't have part two on demand, and I would like to watch more of that. I think that's all the things. Yeah, we'll stick with that. And Austin's question is, for movie crap, wow, golly gee, what a terrific rootin' and tootin' movie crap we had tonight. We learned the true meaning of Christmas. Zendaya transformed into Michi, and you showed us your DVD of Dark City that's yours, not someone else's. So my question is, with Space Jam: A New Legacy, what bad 90s movie that people like should get a sequel today? What bad 90s movie that people like? Bad 90s movie, that's a preference, I guess. Bad 90s movie. Twister? I don't think Twister's as good as people say it is. I know people aren't going to like that if they saw this and they've heard me say that. Maybe Hackers. Let's take Hackers. Maybe another Crow sequel. Maybe Pagemaster nobody likes, so I'm not going to say that one. Maybe like a bad 90s movie. That's the problem. A bad one that people like. Probably like 10 Things I Hate About You, which sequel I think got not aired. I don't like that movie that much. Or She's All... Yeah, I don't like... If they did... Well, they are doing a reboot of She's All... See, all the ones I don't like, they did do. So that's complicated. I don't think there's another one that's necessarily as bad as, like... Maybe Batman Forever. Maybe that one. I don't know. Maybe that one. Okay. Zane Powers. These are from the chat now. Can anyone be Spider-Man, but only if they're young white male with brown hair? I think anyone could be. I think they'll be opening it up more. Maybe this is kind of the end of White Spider-Mans or whatever with the No Way Home or something. Major Mekazawa, do you think it's funny that Space Jam and Twin Peaks both returned after 25 years? I know it's just coincidence, but I get a kick out of it. It's not a coincidence. You figured out David Lynch. Cornbread, was Salty DK Dan interviewing Andy, the actor that say dunk a chino before Al says don't mind if I do? Do you think Salty should interview more background characters like Katana Wolfman? I do, and I saw you tweet that to Salty, and and I agree with it. So cheers to you. Zane Powers, what were you doing in the crowd scene in Space Jam 2? I was like, yeah, Space Jam. That's what I did. Bruce Parker, who framed Roger Rabbit? Well, wasn't that... Oh, that's a spoiler, motherfucker. That's a spoiler, but it was the Doom guy. What's the best All in the Family spinoff, Mandela Butterfly? I think it's the Jeffersons, right? I'd say the Jeffersons. One Day at a Time isn't, right? Is it? One Day at a Time's in LA, so I don't know if that even connects. I'm going to say the Jeffersons. I haven't seen so the one that like takes place in the house, but like different people. Man, that got fucking crazy right there. They're like, hey, it's the house. Like, man, the All in the Family. And then there's Archie's Place, which I've never seen. Oh, man, I might get crazy with that shit. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually, this is a true story. I went to DC. Mom was like, we're going to go to DC, and we were teenagers. And I said, if we're going to DC, I was like, Mom, you guys can do whatever you want, but I'm seeing Archie Bunker's chair. And that was my mission that day. And I saw it. It was cool. It was cool. I wish I could have. You don't get to sit in it because it's like important, whatever. And then they ask you to leave. It's like a thing. Have you seen The Devils 1970? Oh, I should have talked about that. Damn it. Yeah, so there's reference to a Ken Russell film, The Devils, in Space Jam, which everyone wants to know what the deal is with that, and like no one has an answer for. I have not seen it. Now I feel like I should review it or something. Maybe I should. I don't know. Thoughts on the go... Oh my god, I skipped over the Going Red. I can't believe I did that. So you're talking about other stuff. I like it. I think it's a good trailer. Sorry. I like that it's just a scene from it. I think that's actually pretty cool. It's not like it's like a scene and introduces the plot. It's a really smart trailer. I can't believe I did that. I'm glad it wasn't in the thumbnail now. Why is Space Jam so much more popular than Back in Action or Roger Rabbit, despite being mostly inferior than both? I would say I think Roger Rabbit is actually more popular still. Back in Action, I was thinking I would show that to Sophie because I think that one should be more popular than Space Jam because that one kids can actually watch. I think the problem with Space Jam is like you have to care about basketball, and if you don't, Back in Action should be. I agree. Favorite song from the early 2000s, Nathaniel Foga. Say Next Episode, Seven Nation Army. I know that's basic. Yeah, let's go with this. Cornbread. Isn't like really weird that there was an Adult Swim character in Space Jam, A New Legacy, but no Cartoon Network characters? That's a good point. I thought it would be important for modern kid cartoons representation. Yeah, I am surprised you didn't get Adventure Time, but you got like obscure Hanna-Barbera characters and then Space Ghost, and not ironic Space Ghost. That was weird. Which Tony Scott train movie do you prefer? Taking Pelham 123 or Unstoppable? I am morally against his remake of Pelham 123, so I'm going to say Unstoppable. Ace the Windwriter. If you and your family become superheroes, what would your hero team name be, and what would be all your power? Oh Jesus, I don't know, man. I don't know. It would be fun and would be hero family, and I would be fast. I don't know. Sorry. Is the turning red mom a tiger mom or a helicopter parent? Helicopter parent. Austin. Oh, but I get the tiger mom thing. Okay. Who do you want to see Nickelodeon smash? I really want. Oh, Il Tigre and Quailman. I don't know if they can put Quailman in the rights. They can play it, but I don't know if they could do that. I would say more Our Real Monsters, to be honest with you. I think that would be cool. Jordan Salafalo, what are your thoughts on rotoscoping in animated movies? I have no problem with it. It's just a different technique, really. Which are you more excited for, Space Jam or Saw NFT? Is it the Saw guy, that Saw thing? Maybe the Saw. I don't. NFTs are all awful. Cornbread is the third time in a row I've asked this question, and after this, I'll use all three of your answers to stitch together a plot for fun. Can you give me a Gremlins 3 plot, Big Cat? It would just be like, I don't think there should be a Gremlins 3, but if it was, I would want it to be during Christmas again. Just do like a Force Awakens-y thing, but referencing the original one, I'd say. Being a dad, do you pronounce it Pokemon? No, it's Pokimane, right? Isn't it? Don't you pronounce it Pokimane? Cheers to your discount. See, I did a thing there. She's a person? I don't know how she's famous. I don't understand. The Matrix isn't bad. Were people saying The Matrix is bad? It's not bad. That's bullshit. What's the worst concept for a horror movie? Long drawn, like gothic haunted house stuff usually never really works as well as people want to pretend it does in a lot of the cases. Adrian Sarah, not really a question, just wanted to recommend the movie Padaka 2018, Amazon right now. Everyone check them out. Okay, cool. What's weirder, Space Jam 2 referencing Clockwork Orange or Space Jam 2 referencing the Devils? What's the dumbest thing you heard this week? No comment. With Peacock possibly closing, what are any other streaming services you see failing? Those two, I actually think Shudder could get bought at some point, but I think Shudder is more formidable than I think people realize. Question: is the kid who would be king review even real, or is it a conspiracy made up to lure us along all these past 2 years? It is real. It's probably going to go up during the baby leave stuff, but I need to. Yeah, I will. I think that might get edited in September. It is happening. Don't worry. Not possible. You probably already reviewed this, but what's your opinion on Stranger Things? I haven't reviewed Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things. I like it. Oh, I should end. This might be the last one. It is getting late. I like Stranger Things. I like season 1 and season 3 a lot. It's kind of basically Steven Spielberg presents Stephen King with some John Carpenter thrown in for flavor. That's kind of it with that. I think it's okay. I enjoy it when it's on. All right, let me do 2 questions from people who have not done questions from Rocket Lomax. Did you go to the Discord Records house while in DC? No, I've never been to it. I emailed them once and they got back to me, so that was very nice. But thank you for asking me that. Let's see. I just want to get as many different kind of people. Okay, Jordan Powers. Who's your favorite Muppet? Probably always been Gonzo. But I also like Animal. But I also like Kermit. I just like them. So, Jordan Bouchard. Which do you enjoy more out of Cheers, Becker, or The Good Place? Probably Cheers or The Good Place. I'm not a big Becker fan. All right, let's end on that, I guess. When are we getting the haircut? Never. All right, so I think that's it. It is getting late. I will see you all next week. Thank you all very much for being here. Thank you all, anyone who gave a super chat. I really appreciate it. Only 2 more shows for regular movie crap, at least for a little bit. So if you got this far, try to come out next Saturday or the Saturday after that. Thank you for much for enjoying the videos. There will be both these segments will be out in the coming week. I think Monsters at Work will be first, and then Space Jam 2 review, and then Space Jam commercials, and then I think Quiet Place 2. We'll see. Anyway, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching. Give us a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm sorry if I didn't get all the questions and everything like that. But you can leave it in the comments of this video and I will respond to it. But thank you all very much for being here. Sorry for long breaks and all that stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate it. And I will miss doing this. This is always a lot of fun. So you all have a good night and I will see you all next time. And subscribe if you would like to. Good night, everybody.